Hi, my name is Dr. Lucy Meyer from Third Coast Foot and Ankle, and I'm going to address something really disappointing, and that might be your toenail fungus is coming back. So some people might have issues where they've treated their toenail fungus, they got rid of it, and then all of a sudden years later, they're starting to see signs of it reoccurring. Now, toenail fungus is an infection and it can reoccur, unfortunately. And so there are some strategies that we have to be mindful of and do on a semi-consistent basis to try to prevent any reinfection. And so that is different for everybody. And so if you are immune compromised, if you have multiple health conditions, your body just may not have that robust immune system to fight off some of these simple infections like toenail fungus. And so you have to be extra diligent to make sure that that fungus population around you is as low as possible. So just like how you wash your hands routinely when you're in public to try to prevent yourself from getting a cold, you would do the same thing with your feet, but the strategies aren't necessarily washing your hands frequently. It's actually washing the things that you put on your feet. So shoes and socks, they're dark, warm, moist places where fungus loves to grow. So changing socks frequently, at least once a day, sometimes even more than that. And then also using sanitation devices to kill fungus in your shoes. There's actually sanitation devices that you can put inside of your shoes. There's also shoe sprays that you should be using consistently. Now, toenail fungus, like I said, can just invade. And so some of the strategies also has to deal with our nail health. If we have a weak nail, if it's chronically chipping, or if we're chronically getting ingrown toenails, or if we're chronically removing the cuticle or digging into that area, that can actually open the nail up for a higher risk of infection. So that fungus has to invade underneath our nail. And so common places for it to invade is in the corners, but then also underneath the cuticle. This is why pedicures can be a tricky situation, especially if you're dealing with fungus, because that's a pretty traumatic event to the nail and the surrounding tissue. And so it's not always that they're doing something unsanitary, though that can sometimes be the case. Sometimes it's just allowing exposure into that nail. And so when you get pedicures, if you get pedicures, I would highly recommend to make sure that they're not using sharp objects around your cuticle. Actually keep your cuticle in place. You may find it to be a little bit more unsightly because you have that skin edge there, but by all means, toenail fungus is way more unsightly than leaving your cuticle in place. And nobody's getting that close to your toenails that most people won't notice it. You're really the only one noticing it. So I would really, really recommend leaving those cuticles intact. And we also want that cuticle to be healthy. And so using like different cuticle oils around your nail that can also help nourish that nail to keep it as strong as possible so it's not prone to chipping in those corners, and help reduce that risk of ingrown toenails also. So if you're seeing a recurrence of toenail fungus, I am very sorry. That is so frustrating, but there are ways that we can attack it. And now that you've been through it, you know how important it is to treat it early. And so seeing those signs is great to jump on top. The old treatment plan that you used previously is likely to still work, though that is not always the case. So if you need help being coached through this process, please reach out to us here at Third Coast Foot and Ankle. And also, if you found this video helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you liked and shared it. That helps us out here tremendously.